Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Ace of Geeks podcast. We've got a really great interview for you today. This band called The Returners, who are a video game cover band who were playing at PAX Prime last weekend, were kind enough to join us on the show, and it is a great interview. But before we get to that, I've got to do the usual thing, which is plug our sponsor. So if you want 180,000 audiobooks, the best way to do that is to go to audibletrial.com/aceofgeeks. You support the podcast, and you get a bunch of audiobooks, and your first audiobook is free. It's amazing. Go do it. Thank you very much.
We are wizards, we are crewmen, we are Jedi superhuman, warriors fighting on the side of good. We are DMs, we are players, we are hardened undead slayers, elven archers who roam the enchanted wood. We all pretend to be something, so why not pretend to be something interesting? Nerd on, my friends, nerd on. Keep it up and we can rule the world. Whatever you love is not wrong. There's power in your phantom. Keep strong, nerd on.
But you're using your mouth now. You're on a podcast.
I have to say hello.
You just did.
Hello!
All right. Well, here we are in the sunny Orcas Room, and I say sunny because it's Seattle, and I think this is what passes for sun here. There are also, sadly, no orcas in the Orcas Room, but we are joined by the Returners. Yay! Welcome, guys. May I start by saying, and we've already discussed this over email, but you guys have the coolest band name of all time. Every time I got an email from Laura that was signed the leader of the Returners, I was just like, this is the greatest thing.
That's why I sign it that way. Because, like, I don't know, when you're like a little kid and you like play Final Fantasy VI and you're like, oh, I love Rebellions, oh, I love the Returners. Like, I don't know, it's like a life dream.
When you're a little kid and love Rebellion.
And then when you become an older kid and also love Rebellion.
Yeah, no, I've kind of got a weakness for Rebellions against Evil Empires. I blame Star Wars and Final Fantasy VI.
Yes. Well, it's easy to play Final Fantasy VI given that it is the greatest video game of all time.
I like it.
Seeing how much Final Fantasy VI love has grown over the past couple of years, because when I was a kid, it was like, no, if you like Final Fantasy VI, you suck. Final Fantasy VII is the greatest game of all time. And I'm like, no, guys, no. It's just better. It's better, I promise.
That's part of why I don't like Final Fantasy VII.
I know, me too! Oh my god!
I'm bitter, I'm resentful.
They're like, when they ran those ads for months before Final Fantasy VII came out, that was like, this game would never run on a Nintendo. I was like, but it's... Shut up.
I don't care. It's not the graphics that make Final Fantasy VI the best game, although it does have really good graphics.
Dude, there's a merch booth somewhere on the floor that's selling a poster of like Maria and Dracula coming.
I saw that.
I almost started crying.
God.
I was just like, I called my wife to be like, yeah, they have an Opera House poster, and we're gonna put it up, and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I ran into a fellow fangirl who shared it with me, and it was a moment of great joy.
That's awesome. So, how did you guys come about as the Returners? How did this all get started?
Well, three of us had been. Sorry, guys. Apparently, I'm talking.
No, yeah, that's okay. Actually, why don't we just, so everyone knows who's talking? Why does everybody go across the table and introduce themselves? If you've heard the podcast before, hi, I'm Mike. Jairus isn't here because he's poor. Cameron.
I am poor, but I am here.
Yes, true. Go ahead, guys.
I'm Wedge. I'm the keyboardist.
Oh God, you guys have the coolest fucking names.
I'm just Lauren. I'm the band leader, singer, vocalist, flute thing. I do things.
Yeah. I'm Danger. I play bass. That's it.
God damn it!
You're totally like Star Fox.
We need to have cooler names, Cameron. Yeah, come up with a cooler name for yourself right now.
No, that's a dumb one.
All right, we'll come back to you. Go ahead.
I'm John. I play drums and I sing.
At the same time, I want to point out.
Oh, well, I mean, it's incredibly more impressive than playing drums and also.
That's why I keep my name regular, because it's already too impressive. I'm Lobos and I play guitar.
All right, cool. So we have Wedge, Danger, Lauren, John, and Lobos.
Yes. Some of us have normal human names. Some of us have special
You
human
need
names.
to change that immediately.
Yeah.
I can just call you Bandit for the rest of the show. So anyway, how did the whole Returners thing get started?
So 3 of us had been in a band, a video game cover band before. So when that split up, I talked to John and Lobos. And I was like, well, actually first I talked to John because he was a necessary component for the band I wanted to build. I was like, so I need your drumming or I can't have a band. And he's fortunately on board with this idea. And then Lobos was like, hey, I'll do that again too. And I was like, yay, because he's a superhuman guitar player. He shakes his head, but he plays multiple things that other guitarists I know are like, that's not humanly possible. No hands can play that. Lobos totally does. He's shaking his head because he's modest, but he's amazing. He's really good. And then Wedge was a friend of a friend and was awesome. So we got her, and then we put out a Craigslist ad, Danger, and like one of the recruitment questions was like, so how much do you like Star Wars? Because like Wedge obviously goes by Wedge.
Yeah.
John takes
Which is a dual Star Wars and Final Fantasy VI reference.
I found out later, but it
Yeah.
started from Star Wars.
Yeah, of course.
And then John likes the Jedi a lot. He's very. How many lightsabers do you have again, John?
I have 10.
Wow.
Good God.
I have 10.
Colors?
I have 2 pink, 2 blue, 2 green, 2 purple, and 2 yellow.
Are these like master replicas, or are these like?
Or actually 2 red. I have a couple master replicas. I have some Vader's Vault. I have 1 or 2. I have 2 that I don't really remember the makers, but they're like really high end, not even necessarily replicas, even though some of them, like there's one that's designed after Kyle Katarn's lightsaber from Dark Forces 2.
Oh my God.
But some of them are like original concept ideas and things like that, machined out of aluminum and all kinds of this cool stuff.
Have you ever heard of Saber Forge?
Yes, I've heard it before.
Is that where you've gotten your laser or your lightsabers?
The majority of them are from Vader's Vault.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a Saber Forge one coming in. I'm not sure when, but sometime soon.
Yeah.
And my lightsaber collection is not nearly as exciting as my sword collection. I've got like 21 swords at home.
That's impressive.
Yeah. We have some friends in San Francisco who teach a lightsaber school on Sundays in the city. So that's like where my collection is slowly starting to grow for, so I can start showing up and actually doing something in class.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So you got together as the Returners.
Yes.
I know on your website it says the philosophy is to cover game music as strictly as possible, rather than like trying to put your own spin on it. So what's the idea behind that?
Well, there's kind of there's a spectrum, and a lot of there are people who have very strong opinions where it can only be one way or it can only be the other way. I like a lot of it, but choose to play the more accurate stuff. It has different challenges and different appeals, and so that was kind of the thing that we wanted to do going into this. There's a lot of bands that put their own spin on it, and they'll have like their like crazy guitar solo version. Like Lobos actually has a band, Lords of Thunder, and they do a lot.
That's very accurate.
It's very accurate, but it comes across as very like, because you have like a very like style of music that you go for, and this is the songs you choose.
Metal.
All very
speed metal.
So lots of Mega Man covers?
Surprisingly, no Mega Man covers.
Really?
The band is called Lords of Thunder, which was a game on Sega CD and Turbo Graphics, and the soundtrack was just entirely like they hired some like speed metal band to just like do it all, and it was like, I want to make a band that's called Lords of Thunder and cover music from it. And so it
really good.
That's cool. It's crazy how much music back then in old video games, like Final Fantasy has the more orchestral stuff, and like Zelda and stuff like that does, but like games like like Mega Man or like random games like Lords of Thunder was just like, we're just gonna throw drums and this crazy heavy guitars we possibly can on it.
Final Fantasy Mystic Quest is the reason why I like metal.
Really?
Yeah, because I grew up in this classical house.
I've never heard anyone use the words like and Final Fantasy Mystic
Have
Quest in
you
the same
heard
sentence.
the soundtrack? Have you heard
I have
the
this
soundtrack?
actually. I should listen to
Oh
it.
my god, it is so fucking good. I cannot defend the game in any other way.
It's
but
okay.
The soundtrack.
My favorite Final Fantasy game before I actually had played one was Final Fantasy Legend 2 on the Game Boy, because I grabbed that and I was like, I can turn into a dragon. I'm 5.
Is that
great.
one of the Saga games or the second and Tetsu?
It was, I think, one of the Saga games, the one where every member in your party, if you feed them different food, becomes a different type of party member immediately.
I think that's
so like you got like a burly
Saga.
brawler guy, and you give him something, it becomes a chicken. Like it's just completely random and weird. Yeah.
These games are weird.
Yeah.
Saga games are weird.
So once you get a band like the Returners together, how do you start? Like I know you guys had some experience in music bands before, in video game music bands before, but like what is the world of video game music cover bands like? Like how do you guys advertise yourself? How do you get gigs, stuff like that?
Well, like there's a lot of events around the country, and there's a lot of like we come from Austin, Texas, which calls itself the live music capital of the world, and also has a lot of game development. So it's like a perfect location for people who like both. So you can play local gigs downtown. You can network with game development companies in case like they have opportunities to want a live band playing, or you can play at events like we haven't played at MagFest. We played at like Orlando Nerdfest, Nerdapalooza, anime conventions, gaming conventions like in Texas, and PAX apparently.
How crazy was it when that call came in?
Oh my god! So we didn't get into MagFest, and so I applied to PAX South, which was the same weekend. And PAX South is down the road in San Antonio, which is like an hour and a half away. And then I probably forgot that we'd applied. So I got an email that was like, invitation to play PAX South. I was like, look, someone's trolling me. And like a week later, I had a contract in hand. So that was the thing. And then like we played at South, and like that night, the stage director was like, hey, you guys want to play Prime? And I like started laughing. He's like, no, I'm serious. So apparently I'm really bad at, I don't know, something about it.
Were there backflips involved?
If it wouldn't have involved breaking myself in half, probably. Inside I was backflipping.
So who are you guys playing with tomorrow night? I mean, I should know, but.
You're playing with Bit Brigade and the Proto Man.
Oh my god.
Yes. Yep. That's right. So that's gonna be exciting.
Yeah. So what is when you guys are coming together to like put something together for say PAX, like how do you decide what songs are going to play? How do you pick the arrangements for what songs are going to play? Like what's the process going into a show like that?
Well, we kind of all talk about what we really want to play and what we think is going to be a crowd favorite. Like depending on the venue, like sometimes you're like, okay, lowest common denominator, there's going to be a lot of kids, so we'll play like Mario and Zelda because they might know it. Or like, this is where nerds hang out, so let's pull like the most obscure stuff from our repertoire. Like, we'll play our Sega Master System, Phantasy Star 1 medley from 1987. Like, that's not going to be known by a lot of people, but the ones who know it are going to freak the fuck out.
Freak the shit out.
There was a guy today who stopped by the table who was like, Phantasy Star 1, and then starts talking to me about Elise Landale and Maya, and I'm like, yes, we are friends now.
Here's my card, just email me every day, it's fine.
So like with PAX, we were told like, because we got suggestions from friends who played it before, and they were like, I mean, we know the double clicks who are actually going to be joining us on stage tomorrow.
Oh, really? Well,
yes.
That's awesome. They're going to be on our show in November.
Yeah, I love them. So I was like, hey guys, will you play with us at PAX because you're from the Northwest? And they were like, yes.
That is so freaking cool.
I'm really excited.
What are you guys playing with them?
The best is yet to come from Metal Gear Solid, which we usually do on our own. But there's a violin part that we don't play, and there's a cello that's gonna play it. Cello and violin in practice.
It's like just a bigger version.
Yeah, it's like very, very big violin. And then they're gonna be singing along the chorus, which is great. I'm very excited.
Super cool. Is that gonna be like a super surprise appearance, or are you gonna have to? Are you just gonna
We've let people know.
Okay.
We've tried to let people. It's hard because like the double clicks, they just released an album, so they've been all over the place. But we've been trying to let people know. So that'll be fun. And we do the like I said, we do the best is yet to come like on our own too. So that's not a surprise song. I've kind of spoiled the surprise of what our new song is going to be.
What is you okay.
Halo 2. The main theme, because I was like, somebody had asked us, an event that brought us out, Dallas Comic Con, was like, hey, we're gonna have a bunch of people that are like big cosplayers in the Halo cosplay scene. So could you do Halo? We didn't quite learn it in time, but we were like, what Halo should we do? And somebody was like, we should do Halo 2 because it has crazy electric guitar. Lobos.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So when you're approaching a song like, say, Halo 2, which you're put together for this con, how do you go from like, okay, here's the original track to here's the version we're going to be performing on stage?
I mean, do you want to talk Wedge? Wedge does a lot of our arrangements.
I mean, I guess it's just listening to the original and trying to like pick out what would work well with our ensemble. Cause like I hear a violin and I'm like, okay, we don't have a violin, but we have a flute that's in that treble range and would stick out with the melody well. And a lot of times I end up making my part last because I'm a keyboard and I have a digital keyboard that supports all these instrument sounds. So I just kind of like fill in the gaps.
Everything else is Wedge.
Yeah, like I've given Danger like tuba parts and stuff before.
He's a timpani on our Suikoden song. Yeah.
And some of the Star Ocean, he's got some timpani stuff.
Like the longer we play together, the more we get to know each other's instruments and the strengths. Because like I started arranging Halo, and I was like, I'm gonna give it this part, and Wedge was like, no, you don't get that part, you get this part. And then I played through, and was like, okay, you're right. And it's kind of a she and I, because we read and write music, like we use a program like a MIDI sheet music program to kind of write out parts. So we do a lot of the arrangement, but like. For example, Lobos has like divided up parts and been like, okay, I think this is what people should play for things that he gets excited about.
And John has to do a lot of his own work.
Yeah. which is
it's rhythm and it's hard to write rhythm.
And when it's like a symphonic piece and we're like, all right, John, and he's like, I'm a metal drummer and I don't have a timpani. Like, what do I do? But he always rises to the occasion.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. John has made some really amazing drum arrangements.
I've noticed that there's been a bit of a metal feel to some of your very light-hearted kind of. I listened to the Link, the Legend of Zelda one. I'm like, oh, this is very peaceful, and there's like a pretty heavy, a breakdown moment. And I was like, this is pretty awesome. But
oh yeah, like there's transitions. Like that's one of the hard things is when you put together a medley, because we do a fair number of medleys. And then you're like, well, how are we going to transition between these songs? So sometimes it's like, okay, a little 2-measure drum solo, and then we go into the next thing. So yeah, and it really like every time I think that we've figured out what our approach is, and we're like, this is our system, like then a new song comes along, and then oh, that wasn't our system, this is our system. Like every song is different. Like there are ones we do that like are like originally for guitars and stuff. So I'm like, well, Lobos listened to it and figure out the guitar thing. So I don't arrange that, and he figures out the chords or whatever. So it's interesting.
So do you guys get together for like band meetings to figure this stuff out, or is it more like you fire random emails off at each other in the middle of the night?
There's a lot of emailing, and then we try to practice every other week or so, and so sometimes we'll kind of like talk through things at practice.
Okay.
So while we're like,
But also Dropbox. Dropbox
Yes.
is our savior. It's just like Lobos part, Danger part, and then we just learn our parts individually, and then we just put it all together in practice. And
it's
it's
like a combination
cool.
of like MuseScore, which is the program Wedge and I use to write music, and Dropbox will
Like
like
midis and
and we'll
PDFs.
We'll sometimes go to like VGmusic.com or something like that to see if there's an existing MIDI that we can like look at and kind of draw inspiration from and get some of the notes from. Those aren't always accurate, so you kind of look at it and you're like, okay, that's wrong, and that's wrong. But
things are wrong on the internet? What?
yeah, but otherwise we just make our own MIDIs. But yeah, then we'll be like, all right, dudes, your part is here. And Danger is like learning to read sheet music, so we always give him a PDF with the note names on it. Lobos learns by ear because he's good at that. So we're like,
I can't read music. So.
It's okay, I know that feel. Whenever I'm singing in something, people will give me sheet music, and I'm like, I don't, just play it for me.
I can't learn by ear, so I find that impressive.
And then we're like, okay, and then John just drum.
Typically what I'll do is like, we'll come to practice, and I don't practice very much outside of practice, so I'll like hang on and I'll listen to the song real quick, and then I'll be like, okay, let's do this.
And sometimes we have feedback, or he'll be like, here's version A, here's version B, and we'll be like, B.
Yeah.
So.
Is it usually like when you're version A, version B, is it like different rhythms or like different feels, or?
Usually it's on things like in our Link to the Past medley, like Kakariko Village, like our version is different. It doesn't sound exactly like the game version, and a lot of that comes from the drum line. And he tried a few different things. And we're like, we think that's the right feel.
Yeah.
First time we're like, is it gonna be 3-4 times, 6-8 times, which way? And I'm like, I don't care because my part's the same. So.
Well, he kind of changes it up throughout the song. So.
Yeah.
Just like keeps on.
That's the thing. It's like kind of my whole philosophy with drums. Is I have two main philosophies, and it's one, if it's something that kind of repetitive or whatever, which video game music tends to be or whatever, like if we do loops or like if there's sections or whatever, like each time needs to become more interesting. You know, at the beginning, I kind of try and usually start out very basic or whatever, or like in this case, whatever, like very true to the source material. But then if we continue to go on, where I make the drum parts what I feel like more interesting, I change it up. You know, whether it's feel or, you know, just whatever. And then the other thing is being very very true to the source material, but at the same time like doing something where like on the the original part might have like 16th notes, you know, like a on the hi-hat and snare, but instead of doing that, moving the 16th notes to like the kick drum, so you still get that feel, but it's not like super, you know, the same, because I feel like it adds something different to the, you know, to the piece.
Yeah.
Drums are like the one way in which we tend to depart from the original. Like if we're like this feels like it's a little bit slower, a little bit empty or something like that. Like we tend not to add parts because we really want to be as true to the original as possible. But like I don't think that we've ever had a complaint about John adding new things with the drums, because like it's, I don't know, there's something about it where like the fundamental of the piece is the same, and then the feel.
Do you get complaints? Like, do people come up to you afterwards and be like, "Oh, that wasn't exactly right"?
Well, so I was talking about like how there is a difference between the different styles, and like on either extreme end and either camp, you get people who have really nasty things to say about the other side. Like, oh, those people only play what's already written there. They're not adding anything of their own. They're just copying. Or then you have people on the other side who are like, those people are so deviating so far from the original material. They're practically writing the same song. It isn't even a cover. So like, you hear a lot of that, and so like the bands who are on either extreme, I think, get that from the other side. But outside of that, I don't think we get like. I'll occasionally hear people who be like, "I think that's too fast." I'm like, John makes a click track that's exactly the same, and he plays to it. So I'm sorry, commenter on the internet, but you're wrong.
That's something that I love saying.
It's so true, though. So many times.
I mean, I think the constraints of our instrumentation and adapting songs to our instrumentation makes it different enough to be interesting. Even though we're doing straight covers.
Yeah. And like I think if there were to be a song that was not, I don't know, because I would say if there was a song that like we couldn't add anything interesting to because it was like our exact instrumentation, we wouldn't play it live, but we would if we loved it enough. That's like the one driving thing.
Yeah.
Is like do we love it? If so, yes.
What do you guys think it is about like video game soundtracks that makes us all love them? Because I know like for me, like, you know, I've raved about Final Fantasy VI enough, but too bad I'm doing it more. Like whenever I hear the first couple of notes of the opera song, I always fucking break down every single time. Like 2 years ago, I was at PAX and they had this group who was they were a theatrical performance with video game music in the middle. I can't remember their name right now, but they had this whole like story about like rebellion against a steampunk evil empire, but like they would break it up with video game songs. And at one point, one of the characters started singing the aria because she was really sad about her boyfriend, and like I was just sitting there like sobbing in the audience. My wife was like, "What is going on?" But I'm like, what do you guys think it is about that music that makes us connect with it so much? Not specifically like Final Fantasy VI, but just like video game music in general.
I'd say it's a lot of times just really, really good composition, because I found a couple new games where I just, before I even beat the game, I find myself like pulling up the soundtrack and listening to it like when I'm not playing the game, just because the music's so good. And
No, I think like especially if it's something that's going to be repeated and you're going to have to listen to a lot, either you're going to hate it really quickly, or it's going to be really good. Especially I think with a lot of the older stuff, because the limitations, the constraints made it have to be better. But I think also there's a certain degree, and this is something we see a lot, because we get a lot of people who come up to us and like are talking about these emotional experiences of playing this game, and they'll be like, you know, this game was really important to me because I was going through a tough time in my life, or I bonded with my younger sister and we'd never been friends before that, or just like that was the best summer of my life, or I got really emotionally involved with the characters. Any number of things, and there's like this like personal story and connection where it's not just like, and I'm trying to explain this to non-nerds. Like for me, like the difference between like nerdy, geeky people and normal people is like, and I realized this when I was like planning a wedding, is like normal people might name things after their favorite characters and friends. Nerds are going to quote their favorite thing in their wedding vows.
Yeah.
Because like the degree to which we love something we love. And I think that the video game music taps into that. So it's not just like a music for a thing we like. It's like this deeply personal experience.
It's like that Simon Pegg quote, which I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but it's like being a geek is about like having permission to be passionate about the things you like, rather than like trying to play off like, oh, you know, I guess I liked that when I was a kid. It's like, no, this is the greatest thing. You don't understand.
I think there's a large part of that, just because that's a large and like sometimes it is the quality of composition. There's people who are like, I've never heard what the fuck this game is, but that was really awesome.
Did you guys ever gone to what is it called? VG Live or the big concert that tours
Video Games
around?
Live?
Yeah,
Oh.
they do a series of songs from this game that I have never heard of, and I don't think I will ever play it. But the guy who put the concert together, I guess, composed the songs. It's an early PlayStation game. It's like about a psychic guy. I can't remember anyway, but the music is absolutely freaking gorgeous. And every time I go to one of the concerts, I'm like, I really should play that game, and then I forget about it 2 days later.
Yeah. Well, there are definitely games that I've been like, I didn't really like the game, but when I listened to the soundtrack, I'm like, maybe I should give it another chance. Final Fantasy X was not my favorite. I never beat it.
Oh, Final Fantasy X.
But then I started listening to the music, and I'm like, oh, maybe.
Yeah. 10 was like, I don't know, I tried to play that, my wife and I tried to play that, and it was like, step, cutscene, step, cutscene, step, cutscene. And I'm like, can I just put the controller down on the table then? Is this a movie that I'm playing right now?
So not a fan of Xenosaga?
I haven't played Xenosaga.
I've heard it's like the
Yeah.
most movie-ish of movie games.
Yeah, I don't know. I unfortunately my JRPG education is sorely lacking because basically I played Final Fantasy VI and was like nothing else will ever be better.
You should play the Suikoden series.
Okay.
Because it's very, very story-driven and character-driven and has also amazing music. And it's not on the PlayStation Network, so the first two games are no longer $200 each.
Oh gosh. I was at a flea market like 6 months ago, and there was one of those people who were selling just bunches of Super Nintendo games. And so I picked up a stack and like just slid Earthbound in the middle of the stack. And I was like, hey, how much for all these? The guy was like, $2, $2, $150. I'm like, God damn it, you know what you have.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are you guys most excited about for tomorrow night?
Oh, God.
Everything.
Yeah, everything.
I just like playing in front of I just like playing the music, regardless of the audience, is what I was going to say. Like I would play the same show to 0 people as to 1,000 people, so like, I don't know. It's about the music for me, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, we agree with that.
The audience is going to be, just to warn you in advance, the audience it's going to look a little weird because if it's anything like it was the last time I went to a concert at PAX, there were like this cluster of like diehard fans right on the stage, and then the only other seats were on the balcony, so the rest of the audience was sitting in the dark in the balcony because they were too tired from the con. So you can see the band kind of thought there's only like 50 people there, and then they'd hear the applause and be like, whoa, where did you all come from?
I literally have dreams about playing to an empty room, so I'm not like Lobos. poor Lobos has several years worth of, it's okay, Lauren, it's okay, it's all right, don't worry about it, trying to reassure
What if nobody
me.
shows up? What if?
Yeah, I know. I had a dream that nobody was there, and then we played the show. We got interrupted in the middle, and they kicked us out. and then
Gabe and Tycho come out and are like, "You are not worthy."
And then my friends decided they don't want to be my friends anymore. And then my cats left. So yeah. But I reached the point where I'm no longer like nervous and stressed out because we made it to Seattle in one piece. We are all here. None of us are dead. All of our stuff is here.
Oh my God.
And we've got plans for tomorrow. We know where we're going to be when. So now I'm just excited.
Are you guys going to get the chance to check out much of the show tomorrow, or are you just going to be manning the merch booth all day?
It depends. I think we've been doing a pretty good job of taking turns, like with the merch booth and doing stuff.
Yeah.
I really, really like manning the merch booth, so I sit there a lot.
Good.
I like talking. You might have noticed. I think Steve's have a captive audience. Like, hey, you come talk to me.
I'm very nervous in crowds, so I like sitting behind the merch booth and watching in my little safe spot.
It's weird because so normally I'm really I call it claustrogoraphobic. Like every time I'm around like a ton of people in a small space, I'm
Yes.
like freaking
Yes.
out loud. But when I go to like Comic-Con or PAX, I'm like, there's so much cool stuff to look at that I forget there's a crowd there. So I'm like wondering, I like to walk into people because I'm like, oh my God, Battlefront is over there! Get out of my way, humans! What's your guys' favorite thing you've seen at the show so far?
somebody gave me a King's Quest pin, and then I found a guy with a King Graham hat in line, and I was like, is that
Are
King
you
Graham's
also a
adventure
King's
hat?
Quest fan?
Oh, yes.
We might be
Did you
best
see the
friends.
boots?
So you should play Suikoden.
Okay, alright, we'll play Suikoden now, definitely. Well, what's the best King's Quest?
Oh, God, 3 or 6. Alexander's my favorite. When I heard there was
We
a
are
new-
best friends.
when I heard there
Just
was a
learning
new
it
game
now.
coming out, I was like, okay, I need to know whose kid this granddaughter is. I was like, well, her name is Gwendolyn, and Alexander went by Gwydion, so it's probably, and I want it to be Alexander's kid. So I tweeted at the people who are making the game. I was like, look, this is really, really important to me. I need to know whose kid is Gwendolyn. Can you confirm? I said Alexander's, and they said yes.
Yes. I'm so happy with that.
So
When I was
as a person who's never played before, where should I start?
King's Quest 1.
I don't know.
It's rough, but you should start
No,
playing.
well, the King's Quest one is, I would say it's the easiest one because it's the only one I beat without a walkthrough.
I've
It's
never beaten a
shorter,
King's
yes.
Quest without a walkthrough.
I might have had to look 1 or 2 things up, but compared to like King's Quest
Yeah.
6, where like,
So old school point and click adventure games
Oh,
are
God.
fucking brutal. Like they're Dark Souls brutal.
Yeah.
And so like
but
you've
in
got
a
this
weird way.
you've got this map and there's no prompt for what you're supposed to do. And so you like wander around the map and you're like, oh, a dragon. What happens if I click on the dragon? Dragon eats you. Okay, I won't do that. But like you eventually have to figure out like, okay, if I grab this like I can't remember any of the actual puzzles.
Well,
if
it's
I
like-
grab like this fairy from over here and put it in this bottle and take it to this guy, he will give me this knife that I can then take to the dragon and throw at the dragon and kill the dragon to clear the path.
And sometimes it makes sense. Like, okay, King's Quest 1, it's very, very fairy tale, folk tale based.
Yeah.
So you walk past a bridge and a troll is like, "Arr," and you're like, okay, can't go across the troll. And then you walk to like a few screens away and there's like a goat and you're like, okay, Billy Goat's Gruff. I need to get the goat to knock the, which to me like that's like obvious.
Yeah.
Like, that makes perfect sense. But some of the things like adventure game logic, like so I don't know if you play the Strong Bad games.
Oh god, yes.
But they're very much homages to that. And I was playing with my husband, and he like couldn't figure out what to do. And I'm like, well, you want to do this and then do that. And he's like, how do you know that? That makes no sense. And he did it, and I was right. He's like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, adventure game logic.
I remember Day of the Tentacle, which is one of the more famous ones back then. You have to make it rain. And I spent like 3 hours trying to figure it the F out. No, like actually make it rain from the sky.
Okay.
The way that you make
I'd
it
go
rain.
through town just with my bunny
Yeah.
back and be like, go free, bunny!
The way you make it rain is you have to wash your car because it always starts raining when you wash your
Oh
car.
my god. Is that the one that's a sequel to Maniac Mansion?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it is.
I had so
Um,
many nightmares with
See, when you
Maniac
said
Mansion.
old school point and click, my mind's like, oh, you mean like Pajama Sam?
Pajama Sam.
You've never heard of Pajama Sam?
I've never heard of Pajama Sam.
King's Quest predates point and click. We're talking graphical text
Yeah.
adventures.
So,
like
like-
you walk around and you type with like
Once upon a time, young Cameron,
When
there
you-
were games that were only text.
When
you
you
had
have
to do
a DOS
everything with your
window
nose.
and
Yes,
you,
yes.
oh my god.
And I programmed them in QBasic because I was a huge nerd.
That's amazing. So you were an Infocom fan?
No. I was actually what I was I was a fan of there was this series of choose your own adventure books that had D&D stats in them.
Oh,
I
the
remember
Fighting
they-
Fantasy.
Yeah, that's what they were called. Oh my god. They had
Fighting Fantasy.
no fuck
That's what I
fantasy is
heard.
very intense.
I was like, this
We
is
did
a
not
child's
read those
book,
as
yes?
children.
The Leather Goddess is a Phobos the Sierra graphical text adventure game for adults
Say again.
that exists.
Dude, Leisure Suit Larry.
Oh, this is more explicit than Leisure Suit Larry.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, maybe I'll
Oh
have
my
to
God.
write that down. But
Oh.
anyway, see, the Sierra Online and this lady named Roberta
Williams.
Roberta Williams, thank you.
Sorry.
Started making graphical text adventures, which are like you played this like super 8-bit, like maybe even
Not
pre-8-bit,
8-bit.
like
Pre-8-bit.
really crappy looking people. Like the main theme song to the game was "What Child Is This?" the old Christmas Carol.
I know it well.
You like
Green
you-
Sleeves. It's
Green-
predates Christmas
that's true.
Carol.
Okay. You wander around the map and like you walk up to like you'd have to like walk up to the troll and like type enter and then be like say hi to troll and the game would be like I don't understand what that means.
Yeah.
Get troll. You can't fit that in your pocket.
Obviously, you were raised by a naughty wizard.
They also had all the way up through at least 3. They had a this sort of glitch where you could save at any time, but there were certain things in the game that were death traps, and if you saved just before the death trap and overwrote your old saves, that was it. You
Well,
were
like
done.
in King's Quest 6, if you didn't get a thing back there that you can't go back and get, and you're like all the way here
the
at
fucking
the end.
ring. You can only get the best ending if you show that one
Well,
random
it's
picture
not
ring at the
even-
beginning of the game.
If you like get like burned up, your stuff burned up by the druids. Like, good luck beating the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Sorry.
oh my god. No,
Okay.
it's just if you're gonna play King's Quest 6, everybody, which is a great game, you should.
It's really
At the
amazing.
very beginning of the game, when you get to the shop, show that bitch your signet ring. Because otherwise, you can't get the good ending to the game. Someone will die if you don't show her that fucking ring.
Oh man, I used to walk through that game.
Oh god. When I was in middle school, we had one of my sister's teachers babysitting us for a weekend, and during that weekend we beat King's Quest 5. And like 6 months later, my sister's sitting in class, and the teacher takes a drink of water and stops and walks over to him and goes, "Ah, life-giving water. Graham feels new life flowing through his veins." Yeah, that's a deep cuts joke, guys.
Oh man.
So PAX.
Yeah.
Now that Lauren and I are done ranting about games
Yeah,
we both
I'm gonna
play.
sit back
Seriously, we're
and
best
cry
friends now. What did you guys play so far on the floor? Have you played anything cool?
I played Dark Souls 3.
Ooh, I didn't know that was playable here.
He killed the bad guy.
Can I do a Lobos advertisement? Is that appropriate?
Sure.
Okay, Lobos is a
Celebrity.
Twitch celebrity, Lobos Jr., and he's really awesome at Dark Souls.
I'm known for my Dark Souls challenge runs.
Okay.
Like being blindfolded and having someone tell him what to do.
Wow.
Yes.
Beating the game with a
Really?
ladle.
Yes.
Using the ladle in Dark Souls 2, beating the game upside down. I'm now doing a run where I play the game by watching my own stream. So it's like 20 seconds later. So
Oh
it's
my
basically
God.
blindfolded. I do something and then I'm like, what did I do? And I have to wait 20 seconds for like the stream to catch up. Oh, okay, good. But the boss fights, I pretty much have to be blindfolded.
Oh my god. How do you practice? Because every time I see a speedrunner, like there was somebody who beat it was Ocarina of Time blindfolded.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you practice for something like that?
I don't. I've just played 8,000 hours of Dark Souls games. So
Is that an exaggeration or is that according to Steam?
that's Steam is inaccurate because if I do offline runs, it doesn't track that, and most of my challenge runs are offline. So that's an approximation
Okay.
across all the Souls games.
So how did you get into Dark Souls streaming?
Some friends showed me the game, and at the time I was like, I did regular speed runs of just like retro games, and I played through it all the way, and I liked it a lot, and so I speed ran that, and then I don't know how the challenge run started, but I just
You
wanted
was
to.
really bored one day.
Yeah, I was just like, this game has like so much opportunity to like just not use a weapon or not use a shield or use a shield as a weapon or whatever. So I started doing it, and it caught on.
That's cool. Is it like, have people recognized you walking the floor of PAX yet?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do it full time now as a job.
That's-
the Twitch thing.
That's really cool.
The Twitch
You're
life.
living the dream, man.
Didn't you get recognized at a fast food restaurant at home in Austin?
At Starbucks. I got recognized at Starbucks. They were like, "Were you Lobos Jr.?"
It's like I think it's one thing if like you're like at a nerd event and the nerds are always doing
Right,
nerd
right.
things, but like that's pretty cool.
Whenever I recognize someone at like who's a nerd celebrity somewhere not a nerd thing, I'm always like, should I approach them? Like, you're a really famous cosplayer. I definitely recognize you. If I come up and say hi, am I being really creepy or am I being appreciative? It's like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. So how does it go? How does it feel like going from like, playing this game for fun to, okay, I'll stream this for some of my friends to,
Right.
this is my living now, this is what I do. What is that like?
It's kind of hard to explain, but I don't know. I started playing it a lot regardless of viewers, and then like the viewers came, and then I just kept playing it a lot. So it's it's not, I don't know. It hasn't affected me all too much, but except for the fact that now I do it for a full-time job and stuff like that. But
How many hours do you stream a day?
I dig it. I do like an 8-hour a day,
Okay.
Monday through Friday type thing.
So whenever we were kids, there was
Uh-huh.
these videos that would go out that advertised for video game testers, and they would be like,
Right.
play video games all day, every day, and get paid, and it
Yeah.
actually is this mind-crushing, soul-numbing job. You actually are living the dream of us in the 90s.
More or less. Actually, before I did full-time Twitch streaming, I worked at BioWare for 5 years doing QA.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
So, repeatedly running into a wall while blindfolded in Dark Souls is kind of the same thing.
It wasn't that type of QA, surprisingly. There's a lot of different. There is that type of thing, but
Yeah.
it was more like writing test plans for like outsources to do.
Oh,
So
cool.
I worked on Star Wars MMO, so it was like a
Oh,
huge
nice.
project. And I just love breaking games, so
Yeah.
it works.
It's a fun pastime.
Lobos is very good at things, so I think he has to find ways to challenge himself.
Yeah, it's fun.
How do you say the new game stacks up to?
It's looking good. It's looking good. Yeah, like nobody had beaten the boss on the show floor because they only give you 10 minutes to play, and it's fairly large.
And you were like,
area.
oh, 10 minutes, this will be fine.
But I had actually played it before at another event, so they were like the community manager was there, and he's like, get over here and like we'll put it on the screen, go kill the boss because nobody's done it. And so like I did it, and then like everybody was like, yeah.
That's awesome. You carried about on their shoulders.
That's what I did.
There's another game upstairs in the indie area near you guys that you might like. It's called Acropolis. It's like an indie Dark Souls. We played a little bit of it, and it's really fun.
There's also this one, Salt and Sanctuary, which is a 2D Dark Souls, very Dark Souls game.
Okay.
Yeah, I met with the developers as soon as I saw it. I was like, I love you guys. It's good. But I'll have to check that out. Necropolis.
Necropolis, yeah, it's upstairs next to our, well, not next to, but near our favorite.
It's very
show.
cartoony.
Yeah, not cartoony, but like Journey-esque.
Okay.
So I guess
that kind of style.
stylized. Yeah.
Cool. So it was really cool. It was. I don't know that I got it, but I've actually never played any of the Dark Souls games before.
Sure.
So.
Someone said that the premise is that you're serving this god who's bored one day and is using you as your plaything, and will just send you through a labyrinth. Like, go find some pillars and go fix them.
Yeah.
You're going to run into 1,000 bad guys. If you don't do it within a certain time limit, I'm going to put you in this arena with 1,000 really difficult to beat people.
Huh. That sounds pretty
like Brad Lobos' movie.
Sounds like it.
All right, so that's Lobos' best thing you've seen on the show. Let's just go down the line. Joe, what have you seen so far? John. I said John. No, everyone heard John, right? John.
The merch booth. I pretty much had a very late night, went to the merch booth to kind of just hang out and do my part a little bit, you know? And then I was like, I'm tired, I'm going back to the hotel room. And it was time for the interview. So today was, you know.
So did you just roll out of bed and come here?
Sort of like after, yeah.
You're
we
living
took
a
a nap.
musician life right now.
Pretty much, yeah. So I'm going tomorrow to actually like get out and see some stuff.
Tomorrow's probably a better day. Like Saturday's fun, but it's so freaking packed that you're just like we played I think 2 things today with the lines we had to wait into.
Yeah.
2 to 4.
If you don't count the indie games, which
Yeah.
only have a line.
Yeah, there's a lot of wide open indie games, but they're of varying quality.
Of course.
All right, Danger, what'd you see?
Saw a lot of cool things that I plan on playing tomorrow. There are lines like Ubisoft has For Honor looked pretty cool.
Oh my God.
I wanted to play that one.
Yeah, there's a line, so it's like maybe there won't be a line tomorrow.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be a little quiet. Monday is gonna be. I don't know if you guys are still gonna be here, but because Monday's not a holiday, I think half the people are gonna be gone.
Yeah,
Like,
that makes sense.
Yeah,
apparently the scalpers are just sitting on piles and piles of Monday tickets.
We'll be here in the morning, so I guess
Okay.
that can be like playground time.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and then Battleborn looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
From what I understand, that's a MOBA, but first person, third person or something.
No, well, kind of. It's like it's somewhere between a MOBA.
It was a third person.
You're thinking of Gigantic.
No. They almost look the exact same.
Yeah, they do.
But I'm pretty sure it was over the shoulder.
I don't know. The Battleborn is first person.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. I could be crazy, but I'm pretty sure. Anyway, it's it's somewhere between like a MOBA and like a Team Fortress 2 kind of thing.
Cool. Yeah, I like
I said interesting.
Yeah, I like those the games that are going that way, like Fractured Space. Have you played that?
No.
It's really cool. It's you play as capital ships, and it's still got like different areas. You can capture things. It's like a MOBA, but in 3-dimensional space that you
Oh,
play.
cool.
It's really fun.
There's a capital ship game called Dreadnought. It's on the floor. I've seen
Yeah.
a lot of lines for it, but I have no idea what it's about.
Yeah, it reminds me of Fractured Space when I see people like kind of playing it, but I haven't figured out what it is. So that looks cool. I'll find out in the next couple days.
Cool.
Yeah, that played a bunch of indie games that were really cool. I forget the names of them, but I have a stack of cards to like
Yes. Go home and download them later. If you get the chance to play Ninja Tag, we've hyped that enough on Twitter now. I should probably stop talking about it, but it's so much fun to play. It's this like top-down twin stick ninja game, and so like everybody has crossbows. If you kill another person with a crossbow, they can respawn. But there's a katana in the middle of the map, and if you grab the katana, you can turn invisible and teleport. And if you kill someone with a katana, they stay dead.
Nice.
But if somebody manages to kill you while you're holding the katana, everybody you killed comes back to life. So the game goes on until one person gets a katana and kills everybody else.
Nice.
It's a great idea.
What have you seen so far that you like, Laura?
Okay, well, literally the only thing I played was the new King's Quest. I played.
How is it? I haven't played it yet.
I'm not sure how I feel about it. Like, I get what they're doing. I mean, it's a completely different game. It's an entirely different genre. And it's still kind of got the adventure get stuff element, but it's different. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about it. But like I didn't play all the way through before I gave the controller to somebody. But I might give it another try, like when I'm like not exhausted from being on a plane all day.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I wandered around and saw a lot of indie games, and I'm excited to know that there are couch co-op games being made.
I know.
I love those, and there aren't enough of them. And I've played every single terrible Snowblind Studios couch co-op game on the PS2 multiple times because I'm so desperate for couch co-op.
We just put out this new YouTube show called Co-op Life. That's literally my wife and I making a show about how we were married, we both like video games, but we can't play single-player games co-op.
You played Terraria?
No.
It has local co-op on least on the 360.
Oh my gosh.
Yes! I played through it 3 times. Because I kept adding new content, and it's like, okay, time to try to load up Terraria. It's been a while. Let's do it again. Oh, look, there's unicorns now.
I think that's the one that's kind of Minecraft looking.
2D Minecraft,
Okay.
but like with more progression.
Yeah.
And quests.
Because I always see their swords at Toys R Us, because
Yes.
they put them right next to the Minecraft thing, and I'm like, that's not exactly the same element.
That's amazing. Good job, Toys R Us.
There were YouTube star action figures at Toys R Us the last time I went there.
Really?
There were Minecraft. There were people who played Minecraft, and there were Minecraft style action figures. But like, I was like, who the hell are like gaming heroes? And I look on the back, and it's like this list of these like 5 YouTube people who play a lot of Minecraft. I guess. I was like,
Wow.
what?
Wow.
You guys get action figures
Can
now?
we make an action figure game?
I want a like Dark Souls style Lobos action.
Yeah, I think we should have. We should like start a petition.
Just give it just like
Kickstarter.
Yeah.
with being dismembered action.
How about dismembering other things?
Okay, all right.
Comes
But
with
it's-
a ladle.
That would, yeah, mine would come with a spoon.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you play with a ladle?
It does very low damage.
Oh, it's a ladle in game. Okay.
It's a ladle.
I was imagining you like put a
No.
ladle on the buttons and like.
Yeah, Dark Souls 2 had like a joke weapon called the ladle, and it did like absolutely no damage. But one of the runs was cheating the game with spoon.
That's fun. All right, Wedge. What's your favorite thing you've seen so far?
Honestly, I haven't seen much either because I've mostly been at the merch booth. But I mean, like, there's amazing costumes at PAX and like amazing people in general. And I've loved talking to everyone because everyone's just so nice and so cool. But if I did go and see stuff at PAX, if you have any suggestions for strategy games out there.
Planetary Annihilation.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Titans.
Planetary, okay.
Yeah, did you ever play Total Annihilation or any of those games?
No, I know of them, but I haven't played.
It's pretty much the same thing. They changed the art style to like work with the new gameplay mode where you can just kind of scroll out into space from the planet you're on,
Yeah.
and like do like each planet's a different battlefield.
Yeah.
And they had a mechanic where you build like structures that build tanks and whatever, but you can also build these structures that are rocket boosters that turn planets into missiles and destroy
What?
them.
Oh.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, I don't need to check that out.
What's your favorite cosplay you've seen so far?
Ooh,
Gender bender.
That was pretty good. Gender bender, yeah, that was pretty great. Like, I mean, the thing is, like, I don't recognize the whole lot of costumes.
Oh, dude,
I'm
me
like,
too.
that looks so sweet.
We've been taking pictures all weekend, and like I keep coming up to people and be like, I am such a bad nerd, but what are you dressed as? This one girl was like a Kunari from Dragon Age. And I was like,
I like seeing other Nesses and Chells because I have those costumes myself.
We've seen the slow progression in age of very young Ness to very old Ness.
Yeah, like it's
Same
every
thing with Lucas.
Every time we see a Lucas, the cosplayer is slightly older. So like the first time we saw was like 15, and like last time we saw was like 36. We're gonna be seeing old man Lucases by the end of the show.
I'm still ready to see Warrior Lucas, you know, full like Viking beard.
I still need to finish my Warrior Steven Universe cosplay.
Oh my god, that's amazing. There have been a couple of Steven Universe. Did you see the gender bent Garnet running around?
No.
I did.
I ran into an amazing Pearl though.
Sculpt. Yeah, I got a photo of the book because I'm just watching Steven Universe like
Oh
now.
my God, it's so
thing.
good.
It is, as it turns out. But like, so he done like the hair out of styrofoam. It was pretty amazing.
We,
I was
a
excited.
friend of mine and I dressed up as Steven and Tiger Millionaire for a local con, and we ran into a amazing group of just the full crystal gems. Like everybody had done it perfectly, and we just stood outside the convention singing songs at each other for like half an hour. Yeah, it's weird because PAX in the program, like there's a section on cosplay, and it's like PAX is not really a cosplay show, and I'm like, have you been to your convention?
But have you been to an anime convention recently?
No, that's true.
There's-
I have never been to
Oh,
Dragon
man.
Con.
The percentage of people wearing costumes is much higher at
Yeah.
anime conventions and things like that. So so I'll see like people that I know that are like anime con goers who are cosplayers here,
Yeah.
but like there are more cosplayers here than I expected from a gaming convention, but not as many as you find at an anime convention.
Yeah.
So that may be what they mean.
That's
It's
true.
almost like 1 in every 3 people is a cosplayer. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For fanime, it's like they're everywhere.
Yeah, it's like a thing. Like you can't walk through the aisles because everybody's costuming.
We saw
everybody's giant swords are in the way.
Yeah. But you know, real men carry
Tentacles
swords
and
bigger
stuff.
than they are. We ran into a bunch of Mad Max cosplayers who were for the game. I guess they made it as a promotion, but there's these 3 Mad Maxed out cars, like a Beetle and like an two old, and they're Ubers. So you can actually go into the Uber app and this thing called Enter the Wasteland, and if one of them's around, you can get picked up in a Mad Max car and like driven down the street, being like, "Witness me!"
Okay, so I haven't seen Mad Max because I think it would give me nightmares because I'm a total wuss, but
Oh,
They
it's,
see it.
it's not that scary.
no. People who I trust have told me that I shouldn't watch it, so
But you don't trust us.
these people have to deal with me with nightmares. But so there's like riding around the convention floor, there's like, I was trying to figure out what it was because I was like, it's like Luigi in a go-kart.
Sonic!
Mario's like attached to the front, what's going on there? And they're like, it's a Mad Max.
Yeah. Mario strapped in the front. We saw him today at the League of Legends photo shoot.
Pretty cool.
I went to my first ever cosplay photo shoot today, and I was just like, because like, oh, there's a bunch of League of Legends cosplayers walking over there. What's going on? And then all of a sudden, there's like 400 photographers and like 600 cosplayers arranged around me. I'm like, I'm gonna take 3 pictures and then I'm going to run.
See, like anime conventions are full of that. Like the
they-
outside areas are
They are
full
actually
of that.
on the schedule saying this photo shoot is here, and then about half an hour later, there's another photo
Oh my
shoot
God.
after that. It'll be like Fire Emblem, Legend of Zelda, and then Final Fantasy, and then another
Oh
Final
god, we
Fantasy.
should have gone to all of those. I'm so bad at covering cons.
Right. It's like a whole other world.
I know,
This
it
is
is.
just cosplayer, so like I see some of that through her and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna not go into
Yeah.
that madness. But they do great things.
One of our staff members is she and her husband cover cosplay pretty professionally all the time, and they're like they go to Hawaii to do cosplay shoots. Like they spend days at Dragon Con just standing outside setting up lighting equipment, and I'm like, I'm lucky I rented this DSLR for this. Like normally I just use the GoPro. So you're dressing up right now.
Yes. I'm a white mage, but I have my Paula bow because Wedge and I are gonna be Paula and Ness tomorrow.
That's awesome.
I'm playing the Earthbound for the first time and I haven't beaten it yet, so please don't spoil it. But apparently when you like Earthbound, you don't just like Earthbound.
No,
You go
it's one of those
completely
many things.
insane over it. Like my friends have been telling me to play it for like years and years and years and years, and I'm finally playing it. I'm streaming it because that's the only way I can make sure that I make time to play the game. But so like I'm not quite done with it. But so like my friends are like, so how are you enjoying it? I'm like, well, I made a Ness button and a Paula button this week, and I'm gonna be cosplaying as Paula. They're like, oh, I see how it is, Lauren. Why didn't you listen to us 7 years ago?
That's crazy how those things happen
So
when you're a nerd.
good.
Like it's like you find that one thing with like
Oh my god.
like for
So
me like
good.
Steven Universe or Attack on Titan, like where your friends are like, no, really, you need to watch this. You'll like this.
Well, the thing
And then-
with Steven Universe to me is that I don't usually like comedy. So one of my friends had to come up with like a curated list of Steven Universe, cutting the comedic filler. I'm like, oh, there's melodrama. I'm on board.
Oh, I can ship people now? Okay.
Yeah, we just watched Jailbreak,
Oh my god.
and I was like, yes.
I had a friend who, without spoil, I don't want to spoil it on the podcast, but I had a friend who figured out that twist like 2 episodes in, and so I had to very carefully spend like 3 months on his Facebook status update, being like, no, that's not right. No, that's a great theory, but I'm sorry, you're just off base.
Well, so somebody had spoiled that for me, but there's like an extra layer of things if you know that, like you can read into characters' responses earlier. And my husband husband didn't know the story, so I got to see his surprise when it was revealed.
And then
So
going back and be like, oh, that's why. And
yeah, and then in this one, did you see the? Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like the best
I
thing I
want
watched.
to that.
It's
You do.
It's
I've
good.
just heard some of the music from it.
Yeah.
It's so
Oh my god. it's
We
really
might have the voice of Steven on the podcast in a couple of weeks.
Oh
which
my
I'm really
God.
excited about. We're still trying to figure out if we can book that one. But
very cute.
yeah, he is. He's actually a little kid, which I was surprised about.
I'm really
I thought-
glad.
Yeah.
It's way more. I'm like, gosh.
I'm 45 and the Pokemon still.
I'm a woman who spoke too much. I'm a little boy.
Or like playing Bart Simpson for the last 30 years. So, since we've gotten into that portion, what are you guys all geeking on right now? What's your biggest, like, sucking you in, like, I'm just thinking about this all the time thing? Do you start at the other end of the table, Lobos?
I mean, every minute of my day, basically, I'm thinking about my Twitch stream. So
That's
I
good.
stream for like 8 hours, and then
Wow.
after that, I like highlight my stream to upload to YouTube.
Yep.
And then I have like this schedule in my head of releasing videos, and then I go to Twitter and I clear out all my notifications, and so it's just
Your job is
consumes me.
geeking out right now.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And so I mean, on that same page, just Dark Souls in general, like the new Dark Souls stuff coming out, the new Dark Souls like games coming out. It's just,
Yeah, now that those games are so freaking popular, we're gonna
Yeah.
start seeing the avalanche of clones coming in. It's gonna be
Yeah.
like 5 years of solid Dark Souls.
Haven't we already seen an astonishing number?
Well, most of the Dark Souls clones right now are made by the same company that made Dark Souls.
Okay.
So,
Fair.
yeah, I mean, there was like Lords of the Fallen, and that was like an okay attempt, but
every game that's in that series, or like the games in that series, has the most death metal names of all time.
of course.
Salted sexual.
Yeah, exactly.
Played
Death
Saturday Night
Gambit
Massacre.
is another one. So it's just like, yeah.
Oh my god.
Very good.
What about you, John?
I'm mostly geeking out on my drums right now, like, which that's what I do as a drummer. Just like practicing a whole lot. I haven't had a lot of free time the last few months or whatever. I have an extensive backlog of games that I need to play, but I really just love playing my drums. So like especially we have like new material, so like I'm trying to focus on that stuff, and then I'm also like wrapping my head around, because when it comes time to do an album, I do the recording, the mixing, the mastering, like all that stuff.
Oh yeah, John's a trained audio engineer.
And so like I'm constantly like figuring out like how we want to go about doing the next album, and when we need to get started, because it's a lengthy process, and all these different kind of things like that, because resources are always changing, and I'm very particular about a lot of things, and so so yeah, I'm just constantly trying to think about how we're gonna approach this next album.
That's awesome. When are you guys putting out another album?
So we have on the books enough material for the next
Do we?
album. I thought-
Almost.
Well, not what we have known,
Oh, we
but
have
like
plans.
we have, yeah, what we have
Okay.
planned.
So you're recording an album tomorrow.
Well, no, so the last album, we kind of had some last minute additions that we hadn't learned yet that we decided to put on the album. So, we've kind of changed from that original list. Are we gonna be able to? How are we doing on like an album list?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
That's one thing I keep thinking about. We start having real time to like,
Yeah.
we talk about it occasionally, and then we get super excited about something else. And we're like, we need to learn that.
We're learning Halo. Okay,
Yeah.
we're learning Halo. Halo was not on the plan.
Yeah.
We've got to play PAX, so put everything else on hold. And
Yeah.
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 So I mean, we can add Halo to that. I mean,
I guess
yeah,
so.
whatever. And then like we have songs that we're like, we need to do this. We kind of get started, and then like it just doesn't really like Shadow of the Colossus.
That will
Oh,
happen
God.
eventually.
It will happen eventually.
Well, what's
Did you notice Cameron just
You
perk up?
have
with-
my attention.
I have a Shadow of the Colossus tattoo.
That's
So it's
awesome.
a sigil tattoo.
Yeah. We I think like a year ago we talked about starting to learn like a Shadow of the Colossus medley.
No, it was like the beginning of the band.
Was it the
No, when I was
Okay, so
going-
2 years ago, sorry.
Because I was going around being like, everybody tell me anything that you really want to do, and Lobos was like, I really want to shout at the Colossus. So we started on the open way a little
But
bit.
even before we got started as a band, we had like a whole list of stuff that you just had put together, stuff that we wanted to do,
Although I let you guys, I didn't entirely dominate it. It's just-
No, but I'm just saying like it was like even from the outset we had way more music than we could
Yeah.
learn, and then
Yeah,
it
and then
just
we keep
keeps
getting distracted.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
We need to finish our Speaking It medley one of these days.
exactly.
We played part of that at our very first show and still haven't finished making a medley out of it. Oops. That's on me.
So yeah, so I mean we have enough like music on the books, like as far as to do another album. We still have to put all that stuff together, and then it's then we have to look at like I'm very like the way that digital music has gone or whatever. You can do a lot of stuff with virtual instruments and all this kind of stuff like that. I could like literally sit down on my computer and program all my drum parts if I wanted to. I have really good drum software or whatever. But like I'm a big proponent of like live recording. So I'm trying to find like a place where I can set up my drums and have really good, like really nice sounding space and record really good, drum audio. And then
Also that we can afford.
yeah, exactly. That we can afford. And
What? The video game cover band music? The game doesn't give you millions of dollars.
Yeah,
You should hit up Lobos for some of that sweet streaming money.
Make it rain.
Lobos did actually invest in our first set of merch. He was very generous. He helped us out. So thank you, Lobos. He's a good guy.
And then, like recently my living situation has changed or whatever, so like I don't have exactly all the same resources I had available then. So like now I'm like, like mixing and mastering is going to become a little bit more of a pain in the neck. So, stuff like that. Like I'm just constantly thinking about, the intricacies and the, hurdles that we're going to have to, deal with when coming to with an album. Because I'm also very particular about who has their hands on our album and stuff like that. So like I very much want to be the one that does it,
John has very high standards.
I have very high standards, and I
Good.
don't have
That's actually a good thing.
and I don't have a lot of trust in other people. Even though I hear some of their work, it's just like I'm afraid they're going to make some kind of just really poor decision that I wouldn't make.
The problem with having really, really high standards is it means you feel like you have to do everything yourself, and then you get to the point where you're like, okay, this person is really good, but as soon as I leave this with them, I'm going to come back 3 weeks later and there's going to be like a castle in it for some reason.
Yeah, and then on top of that fact that, that person wants to get paid, and it's just like, when I do it myself or whatever, I can just tell the band, like, just whatever, let's just keep the band going, and whenever we can pay me, that's great, like, instead of having to worry about, like, doing a pre-order thing, or making sure we're going to have enough money to do this, that, whatever. So I feel like it's kind of helping out the band, too.
Also, he knows what the songs are supposed to sound like.
Yep.
So,
I'm very intimate with the source material, so
heard it a time or two.
yeah.
So, new album next week then.
Absolutely.
New album 2020.
I should probably get started thinking about cover art.
I just realized, I wonder how many albums that come out in the year 2020 are going to have the name Hindsight. Sorry. I'll show myself out.
Podcast over.
Yes, everything's over.
All the candies are ours now.
So, before I ask you about what you're geeking out now, Danger, I have to comment. Your tattoos are amazing. He has a TIE interceptor blowing up an X-wing on his arm. Oh my God, really? He's got an AT-AT and an AT-ST and blowing up Hoth shield generators. Snow speeder speeds around. Boba Fett posing in a gangsta pose with 2 stormtroopers and an alien on the other arm. Yeah, you have the nerdiest tattoos of all time.
No, I think
Okay.
we all,
All right, tattoo show.
Tattoo show
Go
is
for
out.
it.
Go Lobos.
Let's see. Oh, I got
Everybody
Mass
pick up
Effect.
your shirt.
I got the Shadow Colossus, Okami, Zelda, Shadowgate, which is very
Which is,
a very
yeah,
obscure
obscure
reference
card.
here. And this is
sick.
Nice.
Star Wars. That's from actually when I was working at BioWare. We all went to go get tattoos, like when the game launched.
That's
so,
really cool.
Yeah.
John has.
yeah.
You have to see his Dragon Age tattoo.
Holy shit! Really?
That's pretty cool.
That's
my-
amazing.
My blood dragon.
No, that's where the GoPro died.
I killed it. I
You
did
killed it with
So
your amazing
We're
tattoo.
gonna have a firefly.
With all the
awesome.
lyrics
With
too.
all the
Oh my
lyrics.
God, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
And he's got Zelda on his
I have
leg.
Zelda on my leg here.
Yeah.
Holy shit! You guys are the nerdiest people. And I say that in the most loving possible way. We're here at the nerdiest place. So what are you geeking out on lately?
Right now, I'm going back and forth between Dying Light and Chroma Squad.
I don't love Chroma Squad. I love everything I've heard about Chroma Squad. I haven't played it yet.
Pretty great. Like
not a life-changing game, but
Yeah.
it's a really well-made and enjoyable game, except for the soundtrack, which is like consuming my life right now. It's amazing.
I am one of the few people who belongs to the group of adult Power Rangers fans. Yes, there's some two of us in the room. Everybody I know is like, you would love this game. It has Power Ranger-like things in it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I need to try this game out.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Oh god, I went to the first ever Power Morphicon in LA like 6 or 7 years ago,
That's
and
amazing.
on Thursday night of the con, they had this it's in this tiny hotel in LA, and they have only one bar in the whole hotel and only one bar in the area. So all of us fans are crammed into one side of the bar, and all the Ranger actors who are there are like roped off in like a VIP section, and like after like 5 hours of like us all singing karaoke and them all like carousing and stuff, Austin St. John, who for those of you who don't know is the original Red Ranger, walks up, lifts the rope up, throws it aside, comes and sits down at our table and was like, hey guys, how you doing? We just had drinks with Austin St. John and Jason Darby, who was Skull, for like the rest of the night, and it was the coolest fucking thing. There will never be a better con than that.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Alright, so Lauren, what are you geeking on?
Earthbound.
Good! Good!
I really, really like it. It's really, really good. I don't know. So I'm actually working on my MFA right now.
Oh. In
like
what?
Creative writing.
Oh,
So
cool.
I'm working on a novel under novelists and training me. So it's like that, and running the band and working a full-time job and all this stuff. Like I'm just like I don't have much time. So like my 2 hours a week of concentrated Earthbound time are like
Super
mine.
precious.
You can't take my Earthbound time away from me. Because like I haven't been able to keep up with games as much as I like, and so
Oh, dude,
like
seriously.
it's like gone are the days when like an 80-hour RPG was not long enough.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That's why I'm getting so into like more indie games these days, because like my I have a full-time job and I run the Ace of Geeks, so like every moment of free time is spent on like updating our YouTube, getting our Twitch channel running, like
Yeah.
getting articles on the page, making sure news goes up super fast, and then like I have like 2 hours a night that I'm like, all right, I'll play Destiny with my friends for one raid.
Yeah. No, because like I run the band social media stuff,
Oh,
and,
God,
and
yeah.
I like try to handle all of our convention booking and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and like also I like do social media because I do like some of my own stuff and things too. So it's just like it's busy. I don't sleep enough, and I'm doing a research paper this semester, a very intense one. So I'm just like,
It's weird how crazy trying to turn something you do for fun into something you get paid to do, like how much time that takes out of your life.
even just doing it for fun, just
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
time.
I know.
But it's so rewarding. Sometimes I'm like, why do I do this? And then like something like this happens, and I'm like, yeah.
That's why.
And also these people,
Oh,
they're fucking amazing. I love my bandmates.
We love you.
Yeah.
It's a love fest.
Honestly, like, I'm just gonna not answer your question. I'm just be like, my bandmates are like the most amazingly talented people, and I could just like sit here for like 5 minutes and tell you why each one of them is like super amazingly talented and awesome. So
We have the room for another 10 minutes.
To get through two people.
Yeah.
shit.
Your two favorite, Lauren. Go.
Choose! You must choose! We'll call it Lauren's choice. And
Can it be played by Meryl Streep?
yes. I cannot wait to see Meryl Streep in a white mage outfit in the Orcas Room in Seattle.
Oh my god.
Oh.
One of my favorite celebrities is I just love the fact that apparently Vin Diesel is the biggest nerd in the world.
Super
And then he tried to get Dame Judi Dench to play D&D with him. I'm like, that is the best thing.
So I've had the most brilliant idea for years and years and years, and one day I will do it. But I want to make a Dungeons and Dragons movie. But the way I want to make
That
it
doesn't suck.
Yes, that's the key part of this. But what I want to do is I want to take all the people who in Hollywood who play D&D, so like Vin Diesel, Rosario Dawson, The Rock, like all those people, put them in a room, put cameras on them, and have them play D&D for like a whole campaign. And that's half the movie. And the other half of the movie is the big budget movie we make out of the campaign they run, where we cut back and forth from the room to what's going on.
I'm so on board with this idea.
Yeah, that's great.
It's kind of a rip-off of the gamers, but still.
But better.
Alright, Wedge, what are you geeking on?
Well, I just went back to do another semester of school in computer science, so I'm about to lose all my free time. But I had a little bit of free time over the summer, and I started playing Final Fantasy XIV. Oh no.
I've heard it's really, really good now.
I really liked it, yeah. And yeah, it's great. And I played WoW a long time ago, like hardcore, and so like I understood a lot of the concepts and stuff. And I just love the the music is gorgeous, like graphics are good, and gameplay is really fun. So I was having fun with that. I guess the other thing I was geeking out on recently is I really got into MST3K.
Nice.
So like I like to sew. So I would sew and watch MST3K for a couple hours sometimes.
That
and
sounds
that's great.
amazing.
So,
Yeah.
yep.
My wife does that. She'll either be knitting or working on a cosplay, and she'll just veg out on some show for
Yeah.
3 days.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it has been a little bit more than an hour, and I know we all have places to be, and we're going to kick out of the room in 10 minutes. So I will say thank you guys very much for coming on the show. We are super excited to come see your concert tomorrow night. It's going to be super cool. If we want to find out more about the Returners, where do we go?
The-Returners.
Thank you.
The-Returners.com or Facebook, The Returners VGM, or just look up The Returners VGM everywhere. It's distinguished us from the band in California, the punk band called The Returners. But they are
almost
named,
tweeted them today.
they're named for Final Fantasy VI, so they're allowed.
Okay.
They have my permission to use that.
And they were first. But
No one needs to know.
Yeah, you can find us all over the place, except Tumblr.
Tumblr's hard, man.
We had a Tumblr and I took it down because I don't know what to do with it.
we have a Tumblr, and I've had 3 different people on staff who I'm like, you are running our Tumblr now. And they're like, yeah, that takes too much work. I'm not doing it
Yeah,
anymore.
it's hard. But we have YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and what else do we? Is that it?
Instagram? Do you have Instagram? Or is
We have. Oh no, I can only have one Instagram on my phone. So, so if you look up Lauren the Flute on Instagram, you can see whatever the band's up to.
Okay, cool. All right, well, we'll end this podcast the way we always do, which is hello and welcome to the Ace of Geeks podcast. Jairus, if they want to email us, Jairus isn't here. Shit. If you want to email us, you can email us at aceofgeekspodcasting@gmail.com. We're also on aceofgeeks.net, which is where you'll find all kinds of cool stuff, including all of our coverage from PAX. And you can find us on Twitter at Ace of Geeks. We're on Facebook at the Ace of Geeks. We're on Instagram at Ace of Geeks. Just search Ace of Geeks. You'll find us, I swear. Thank you guys very much once again for coming on the show, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.